Hello, it's Christmas. Christmas, of course, is going to be in just few days. How are you preparing? On my side, I'm doing very, very well, as you can see. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Tomorrow, Saturday, December 16th, is going to be a very, very decisive day for members of the Association of English Speaking Journalists, known as CAMASEJ. The National Bureau will be elected by hundreds of English speaking journalists across Cameroon. And the election is coming after 4 years, or 4 years after the previous one. It's actually taking place in Bamenda. Now there are going to be three candidates vying for this top job, and they are joining us tonight to defend their manifesto. Hopefully, the network is going to permit us to have one of the candidates, who is Terence, to join us just shortly. But here we already have Viban Jude. He has been the CAMASEJ national president for 4 years, and he is being challenged by Sah Terence, like I said earlier, and also Cham Victor, who is already here with us. So this will be a very, very structured discussion. I would call it debate, in which each of the candidates will be asked specific questions in turn, and they will all be given specific times to answer. We have to make sure that we stop talking when we are asked to stop. Jude and Cham, when you are told to stop talking, you have to stop talking. I hope that is fine. And when a candidate is also challenged, we'll have to allow the challenged candidate an opportunity to defend themselves. So let us go straight away to meet our candidates. We'll begin right away with Viban Jude. Hello. Good evening.
Hello,
Thank you for
Mimi.
joining us today.
My
Thank you
pleasure,
for
my
joining us.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. It's an opportunity and a privilege to have you. I know your hands are really, really full. Just I should say few hours to the election taking place in Bamenda, and you are taking part in the election and organizing at the same time. Thank you for joining us tonight. Can you just maybe go straight to the point and tell our viewers who you are?
My name is Jude Viban. I formally got into journalism in 2009 when I left the University of Boya, where I studied journalism and mass communication. And since we're talking about a top job in CAMASEJ, when I came to Bamenda, I immediately joined CAMASEJ. I was there for a year, and then I got a job in Yaoundé 2010. So I moved to Yaoundé 2010. And I've been there in Yaoundé till date as a member of the Yaoundé chapter. And then that was 2016. The Yaoundé chapter branch went limping. And that is when my leadership skills were called into action, and I came back. I came to be the chapter president of Yaoundé, and I revived Yaoundé. And then in 2019, I said, okay, I can do something at the level of the national executive. And that's how I ran for office in 2019. Generally, issues of associations concerning journalists are more of a passion to me. You can recall that maybe when I was receiving you in the University of Boya, then when you had come in as a student, I was at the time the president of the Association of Student Journalists of the University of Boya. That's ASJO. So, and all along in these associations, I've been able to carry out some certain reforms and the rest. And I think that it's my calling to do that. And I think that's a bit about me.
Yeah, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about yourself. I know that you've done quite a lot when it comes to the journalism profession in Cameroon as a whole, starting from the University of Boya, the Department of Journalism, like you just said. But this time around, it's from a very, very different and more dynamic perspective. We are talking about the Association of English-Speaking Journalists in Cameroon, an association that is supposed to be there to defend the rights of journalists, particularly English-speaking journalists. Also, it's supposed to, and it's got a lot of objectives when it comes to, press freedom, protecting the rights of English-speaking journalists, and so on. But before we come to that, I would first of all want to find out from you, before Cham joins us. I'm sure he just left a few seconds ago. Network is quite unstable in the Northwest region, I must say. So from time to time, we would have to go through this. I just wanted to find out from you. Okay, Cham just joined us. Cham, can you just quickly, in 1 minute as well, tell us who you are?
Thank you very much, Mimi. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about my person and, of course, on the upcoming CAMASEJ elections. I am Cham Victor. I started practice in 2011 in Bamenda as a volunteer in CRTV Northwest. Then thereafter, I created the municipal update in 2015 before I went to Boya to enroll into the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in the University of Boya. Thereafter, I relaunched Municipal Update after a recess of about 2-3 years. And today, Municipal Update is a daily newspaper in the country, one of the 2 English dailies that we have in Cameroon so far. And I've also worked with the Eden newspaper for some years. And of course, I joined CAMASEJ in 2019. And absolutely, I must comment here that journalism has been so of a passion, and that is why I've been consistent and trying to make young people interested, especially in print journalism. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Jude, I want to find out why you think that you want to be re-elected as CAMASEJ president again, because you've been there for 4 years.
I think it is about restructuring CAMASEJ, and we began doing that because the reality is that the name Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists is very big. But when you look at the content, there's a problem with the content. In the sense that when we took over management, let's keep things and be straight about it and be honest about it. When we took over the management of CAMASEJ in 2019, I can tell you that we did not even inherit any document, nothing in the archives, not even the Constitution. We had to go searching for the Constitution as if though we're searching for some archives of 1960 something. And equally, we inherited just a stamp and a letterhead. So we realized that there was a need for some restructuring to be able to rebuild and so that give content to the association, which a lot of us only know as the Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists. So what we were doing first was we started off by saying, okay, let's have a rethink of what CAMASEJ is all about. So we gathered some delegates in Boya and Limbe, so they made some inputs. We came to concretize those inputs when we organized the first ever non-elective General Assembly in over 15 years, where we're not only coming to talk elections, because we realized that after every 4 years, we come to talk elections, we vote, and then we go come out another 4 years. So we said, okay, let us think this. And we gathered in Yaoundé, and unfortunately, the 2 candidates that are here today were not even part of that stage here. We, the Cham Victor came very late when we had already closed proceedings. But people who came gave a lot for us to be able to cover those gaps. And for example, you can see CAMASEJ has been functioning without even a secretariat. You cannot locate CAMASEJ physically. We had to start again by reintroducing CAMASEJ in every circle, giving it visibility. And that's why people came again to know about the CAMASEJ and know about the national office. And we went further to say, okay, we have to do all this restructuring. It is important for us to involve everybody so that everybody understands what we want to do. It is for the future, and we have to lay the best.
Yeah, just so that I understand it, where's the national office and where's the secretariat? Is it in Yaoundé?
Now it's just about 2 months ago, we're able to pay rents for our secretariat. That is for 12 months, and we can brandish the receipt of that. So we now have a location in Yaoundé, and we're able to win a grant. And in that grant, there's a composition to be able to take care of the offices in Bamenda, because Bamenda chapter, mind you, were able to create their own small legal office as the Bamenda chapter. So we thought, okay, we as a national can be able to come in and support that so that they have that physical location. And then, of
Okay,
course,
yeah, that's very important because time Cham Victor has to come in now to also
Mhm.
give his own because we want to expand on that later,
Yes,
and I
yes,
want to really find out why Bamenda and not the other chapters because we also have chapters across the national territory.
exactly.
Mr. Cham, you want to unseat the current president, not unseat because his mandate is ending and he wants to be re-elected, but you want to replace him as president of CAMASEJ. Why?
Thank you for the very important question, Mimi. First of all, I want to highlight that the current ESCO of CAMASEJ has done quite much. I must applaud them for that. And of course, recently they had a big harvest. That too is very, very laudable and appreciated by members of the association. But Mimi, let me be very, very straight to the point. At this moment, CAMASEJ needs to be more united in its diversity. CAMASEJ is going through a lot in terms of its unity. There are cracks in the house. It is true there is no home without problems, but I think this is the time for CAMASEJ for us to right the wrongs and reunite CAMASEJ members, chapters, so that together we can foster all the achievements the current bureau has started or have started, and we continue there for the next 4 years. And when we finish, we hand over to another bureau. Let it be a consistent matter. Without unity, you can't achieve anything. And that is why we are moving towards reconciliation. And we think that a perfect committee on that can better solve the problems that CAMASEJ is currently facing. We can't pretend that CAMASEJ is united. It is not united as of now. And we want to achieve that unity in its diversity to complement with the achievements that current ESCO can count.
And talking about that, one of the leaders of CAMASEJ, particularly CAMASEJ D that I spoke to before this program, Nzi Morid was talking about the fact that they are looking for a leader who stands for press freedom, a leader who is going to build a very strong association for every CAMASEJ member across the national territory, take the association to another level. These are her words. And she also said that she wants to be quoted and for advocating for a leadership at CAMASEJ that will be free of greed and self-interest. I want to ask, Terence has just joined us, Viban Jude and Cham Victor. Let me just get to Terence right away. Hello, Sir Terence. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been tough on your
Y-
part.
Yes, yes, it's sad. We've not had lights in our neighborhood for over a month now. A transformer got burnt, and we've been suffering the effect. So it also affects network. I've
Yeah.
swapped SIM cards, and it's really bad. So I'm outside my house now to be
Are
able
you
to
using
have.
a candle?
Yeah, it's funny.
Thank you for going through all of that to be part of today's discussion.
It-
Um, Jude and Cham already introduced themselves so beautifully, and they already told us why they would want to join the race for the CAMASEJ presidency. Can you just briefly and quickly introduce yourself and tell us why you think that you want to be the CAMASEJ president?
Uh, okay, me. I am Sah Terence and I'm a freelance investigative journalist. I'm also the country director for Media Democracy. Media Democracy is a Franco, or it's an Afro-European organization of journalists working in 12 African countries, France, Italy, Germany, and the UK. We bring together African and European journalists for exchanges, knowledge sharing, and all of that. And yes, I also do a lot of communication consultancy for a couple of local and international organizations. And within the years that I've been in CAMASEJ and also had the opportunity to meet with really amazing people, work with great colleagues, I think that I understand the problems of journalists in Cameroon. I know exactly what journalists in Cameroon need. I know exactly what their challenges are. I just concluded a study with Media Democracy on is a diagnostic study of the media in Cameroon, and this actually study actually outlines a exactly what problems journalists are facing in Cameroon. And within CAMASEJ, these problems are even more serious. We have journalists who have gone for several months without salaries. We have journalists who are owed 24 to 26, even 30 months of unpaid salaries. Within these are CAMASEJ members. And we think that CAMASEJ has the capacity to increase, to better the livelihood of its memberships, of its membership. For instance, CAMASEJ has the capacity to run a resilient newsroom that can actually pay its members good money to be able to take care of themselves. And this is not supposed to take much money. This is a project that will less than 5 million we can execute for a whole year, and more than 60 to 70 members will benefit and be very happy for having taken part in it. So I think that we need to look at very practical, very easy to do activities that CAMASEJ members can all feel the weight of it. It has to be more decentralized so that many more members can be beneficiaries. It doesn't have to be around.
So is that the reason why you want to be CAMASEJ president?
I think that journalists deserve
and what can you bring to the table? Concretely bring to the table.
I know that with this we can do a lot more. That's not all. There are six concrete reasons why I think I want to be CAMASEJ president. One of them, I want to foster accountability. The second one, we want to also improve the.
Okay, so Cham Victor, before we come back to Terence, because we lost him a couple of seconds ago, I want us to look at practical problems plaguing CAMASEJ. I know Viban Jude has talked about restructuring, which is very, very important. When you come into an association when a lot of things probably were going wrong and you start by restructuring, putting in place structure, that is very important. But now into the crux of the problem, which has to do with journalists in Cameroon, the practice of journalism and journalists as a whole. I want to find out from you, Cham. Terence has raised the problem of journalists being not being able to take care of themselves because they are not having salaries, which is actually a big problem in the media landscape in the country. He's proposing a solution, maybe creating a platform where journalists can be able to make money, maybe by writing articles for CAMASEJ and so on. Tell me, other than that, there are also many problems plaguing the sector, like press freedom. Journalists are going through a lot of safety challenges, and some are even scared to report about pertinent issues that are plaguing the country. We have so many problems plaguing the media landscape in Cameroon. I'll come back to you, Terence. I want to ask Cham Victor concretely, what are you proposing as solutions to some of these problems?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Mimi, I think that journalists, first of all, must be respected. They must be respected and must be given the dignity they deserve. And for this to happen, the journalists themselves must be responsible in the approach in which they report news, in particular, especially investigative news. Remember that access to information is one of the most important ingredients when it comes to press freedom. Information access, when denied, hampers and hinders the process of news gathering and dissemination. But first of all, Mimi Mefo, let me let you to underscore this very important and critical point that most journalists in the country feel at times very, very insecure. Perhaps this is because the thing reporting on a particular subject may attract certain sanctions or the hammer of the law. But again, I think reporting it responsibly may attract no sanction, but the approach also matters in terms of the kind of article you're talking about. For example, we are in the Northwest today, and there is a shooting somewhere in part of Mezam Obamenda, and you have to report about it, and you are not too sure if it were
We lost Cham. Viban Jude, I'm coming to you now to find out from you what you have to say about the problems of journalists. Terence was proposing creating that an economic viable
I was coming
opportunity.
to that. I was coming
Okay,
to that.
sorry.
And that is why journalists need to have alternative sources of income to support their work. And those sources must be independent, meaning being self-reliant economically can enable you to practice journalism independently without relying on any maybe politician to support your works or whatever you are doing. That is when you allow your job to be supported, you are compromised. And when you are compromised, you can.
Sorry, we lost Cham there. Viban Jude, concretely, what did you do to better the conditions of journalists in Cameroon, and why should those journalists who are watching you tonight, planning to take part in the voting tomorrow, vote you again? Everything just stopped. Maybe it's the network or something. So I don't know. Terence,
I guess I'm the
Jude, are
only
you
one
with
who's available.
us? Yes,
I
you
can
are the
hear
only
you.
one who is available now. Terence, tell us, you've mentioned so many problems plaguing the sector. What Jude just joined us now. Jude, you've talked about structuring, you've structured, but I want to know what you did concretely to better the lives of journalists when it comes to promoting press freedom and also ensuring, because one of the major problems that journalists have in Cameroon is financial issues. They don't have enough money to take care of themselves because some are not being paid. They have a lot of challenges when it comes to taking care of themselves and so on and so forth. What did you do concretely to better the condition of journalists in Cameroon, other
Okay,
than the
okay.
administrative structures that you put in place?
For fairness, when Cham Victor comes back, he's a media owner. Hello, are you getting me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, for fairness, when Cham Victor comes back, he's a media owner. Ask him how much he's paying his own workers. You start by bettering of their life, and then before talking about the businesses of other people. Now, when you talk about practicing and in terms of defending the rights of journalists, we are on record that we have issued not less than 56 strong worded statements each time when there's an infringement concerning the rights of journalists. And we have done so without fear of favor. And that's why you see UNESCO, you see the Canadian High Commission, you see the American Embassy, and you see other people associating with us. And one of the key ways to develop income for journalists is for them to make income within the space where they are. And one of the ways we have been doing is to train journalists and to be able to pitch out stories from without Cameroon, to tell local stories from an international perspective, not necessarily being, leaving the profession to go and do other try alternative income, but they should be able to try alternative income within the profession by living their passion. You know, the issue of
Mr. Jude, let us be very, very concrete. Yes, yes, Jude. Let's be very concrete when we are talking. The communiques, you could cite like 5 of them. What were they related to? And also when you're talking about opportunities, how do these journalists get access to these opportunities if they are not also scouted, searched by the association and also given to journalists? I know that you cannot just bring everything to their doorsteps and make it so easier for them, but also you can also you have the capability of providing these opportunities to journalists. I need to hear concrete steps that you took to protect the journalists. What were some of these cases where you had to come out and issue strong worded statements so that people can understand, they can put some faces and to the stories that you're trying to talk about? It should not be too abstract.
There was Fung John, there was Martinez Zogo. We came in when the case of Wazizi was already there. We picked it up. We are not. There was Anye here in Bamenda, and there was another colleague just along the road in Boya. There were other cases in Limbe. There are series of them. There are
Yeah,
series
the
of them.
reason
And
why
then
I'm asking is because many people are questioning about the situation of the post which prevails till now. Why CAMASEJ has been silent about it? Why CAMASEJ has done nothing
the
and hasn't
post,
said a word since
the post, the
since the
post.
post was banned by the government? Why has CAMASEJ been silent?
The post was given a 1 month ban, and they have been back on the stance. And the post in itself issued a statement saying that we recognize our mistake. That is what they did. And then again, when you're talking about a post, you're talking about business owners. You're not talking about individual journalists. You're talking about business owners. And these business owners have an umbrella on situation where they fall into. One thing also is that let us not all together cram ourselves and there is no visibility of what we want to do. We should have visibility of what we want to do, and we should have a purpose of what we want to do. That. And hello, are you getting me?
Yes, I can
So
hear you.
we believe that when we already have the National Communication Council, and we have been going there as journalists, it means that we are giving them that authority. And if the journalist is heard in fairness and has been taken to the National Communication Council and have given them a chance to express themselves, and if the journalists concerned don't come to us to raise the issues that, please, we think that we were treated unfairly, that is when you should come in. It doesn't mean that all the time journalists will be right. Let's not also give that kind of impression. If they were not given a fair hearing, and to tell you that when the governor of the Southwest intervened, then we found out that at that our level, we said that was excessive use of administrative tolerance. That was excessive abuse of power. That's what I should say. That was abuse of power. And I had interviews with several international media houses, VOA, BBC, where we condemned strongly. So it is every case has an approach. And we wanted to approach it from the fact that we should not go back to the period of censorship, where the governor came in and said he's banning the circulation of the Post newspaper in the Southwest. We said that was abuse of power. And we took to the international media, VOA, BBC, and the links are still there. So
Yes, Mr. Cham Victor, I can see you really listening. Would you have handled this differently if you were the CAMASEJ president? And what would you do if you find yourself in that situation, if you're eventually voted tomorrow? This is the
Yeah.
probability.
Thank you very much, Mimi. That's a question quite intriguing, but I think that like the current president has said on how he handled that particular issue. First of all, I believe more in action. My slogan is action now. Action now means that you speak out immediately. Making releases is very important, and I wish to applaud the current ESCO for always doing that on most occasions. But I also think that speaking out through interviews is more and more impactful. And that is why that will be one of the key approaches to tackle such issues, speaking out immediately so that action or some kind of reaction can be done or taken from either the government and otherwise. I think that we must be on the action front, action now.
Terence, you want to say something about that?
Well, yeah, I should. Maybe there is something I always say. We are not in a fight against the government. We're in a fight to have a table to have a seat on the table with government, so that together with government we can dialogue, we can speak, and we can understand each other and respect each other. I think that communiques and interviews are too weak to handle such situations. There is advocacy. There is strategic partnership building. There are persons in government that we can work with. There are legal experts. There are people who master the laws. If a governor abuses excessively power, we should be able to point it out. We should be able to say it clearly. We should be able to work with experts within the government who are legal experts. We can build these partnerships. There are people we can work with in government to build such strategic partnerships and be able to carry out serious advocacy. Meet these people. You're the president of CAMASEJ. You have the power, which means you can book an audience in high places and get things done, and people get to listen to you. Communiques sometimes are simply ignored. Yeah, it's a communique. It's not going to bite me. It's not going to do anything. So we need to move away from just issuing communiques, which sometimes are not very powerful, are not powerful enough. Sometimes are too careful. We are too careful with our words in the communiques because we don't want to step on certain toes. I think that the greater thing to do is, serious corridors advocacy, backdoors advocacy, meeting with strategic partners and making sure that we are heard. It doesn't have to be a lot of, there doesn't have to be a lot of noise about it, but we should be able to get to the core offices, the core places. Yeah, like
Yes.
I said, to have a
Yes.
to have a seat on the table with government, we need to have friends in government. And
yes, so we'll come back to you because we have to be ending this discussion very shortly. I know that you have a busy day ahead of you. I wanted to bring back a point that Cham mentioned to the table about division within CAMASEJ, which he thinks that is a major problem. Cham, that seems to be the only problem that you have seen with the current ESCO, because you seem to be happy with how Viban Jude and his team have been running CAMASEJ. So I want you to know what you want to bring differently. If they are already doing a good job, if they're already doing a good job and the only problem is division, why are you trying to be the CAMASEJ president then?
Mimi, thank you for this question. That was just one of the signature problem of all the problems. Another problem is accountability and transparency, and of course, we talk about equal sharing of opportunities to members. That is very, very important and a key problem too, which I think I identified. And I think that these two will be tackled during my regime. And I believe strongly that when tackled, it will help to advance the cause of CAMASEJ to a next level that will attract international admiration. Remember, CAMASEJ is a body made up of a diverse force, people with expertise in varied fields, and we have to exploit this opportunity and give them equal opportunities as well, so that we can together be a solid and formidable CAMASEJ.
So to you, the two major problems, division and accountability, that's what you want to fix at CAMASEJ, right?
Yeah, those are two of the problems. Since we can't manage the time now to talk further.
Yes, Mr. Viban Jude, I want to come to you. We are now going round, and this will be the last questions. I will start with you, Viban Jude. The problem of division within CAMASEJ, it is huge, and where there's division, the enemies are bound to come in and cause confusion. You know that when there's division, even in homes, even wherever in families, when there are divisions, there's always that possibility for the enemy to come and create confusion. Cham, the question Cham anyway, I'll be looking at other issues shortly, but I wanted to find out about division and accountability. Is this something that you that embodies? Are these some of the things that you're going to be tackling, and how?
Mimi, you see, when my dear colleagues are talking about accountability, is the ability to be able to be open with accounts. And when we held the annual General Assembly, we did give out the details about the accounts and everything. Now, one reality is that there must be processes in terms of accountability. And when we came to CAMASEJ, we realized that there are no processes. And that's why we've developed texts like the petty cash policy. We have called financial experts to develop petty cash policy, procurement policy, finance policy, and policy against sexual aggression. We've developed all those policies so that we have a reference document as to how, the way we are supposed to do things. You understand? So I've just realized that the problems, and when you talk about division, let me tell you one reality. If I were not somebody who is fighting very hard to unite CAMASEJ, when I won, you're a member of CAMASEJ Douala, when I won the elections in 2019, the Douala chapter has never in any way, or a few people there have not accepted that defeat. And it's not good for an electoral process. And so that's why we think that in the restructuring, you have to put in laws within the constitution that will help solve those issues of divisions, which is coming with issues like the one list system. If you do it in such a way that—
restructuring for the next 4 years?
No, not restructuring for the next 4 years. We have already discussed that constitution, and it should come in the first year. That's the implementation now. We're talking implementation now in order to solve that problem of division.
Mr. Jude, you're talking about an election that took place in 2019. So what did you do with your team to reconcile all the differences and, bring all the chapters together?
We made several trips, but sometimes you have to give people time for them to turn around, and you don't have to enforce, so that when you enforce, you further break people apart. If we wanted to go to Douala and say, those who voted for us, let us bring you in so that you'll be the ones fronting for us, we refuse that. All attempts to provoke us, we refuse that. You in CAMASEJ Douala, I have received all sorts of invectives, all sorts of insults and the rest, but every time when we have an event, we extend a hand to Douala. And when the people come for the event, we show them a different reality. And progressively, a lot of people, and I can tell you that a lot of people in Douala, the few who are creating division are very few and a minority. And so that is no longer an issue. When we were taking over, Boya was not vibrant, Kumba was not vibrant, Limbe was not vibrant, Yaoundé was not vibrant. And so we have been able to get all these chapters to be vibrant by trying to practice our own federalism in our own way, trying to encourage them and have that governance come from the base. When we want to select people, the people who select people are the chapter presidents that are accountable directly to their members. So what I would end up with saying is that the other two candidates should just rally behind me. Let us come together and solve and work and create a better CAMASEJ. I see that you cannot come and you tell us that we are doing a wonderful job, and again you turn around to say we are not doing a wonderful job. People, you own a media newspaper, you have a newspaper, you don't pay you're not having good salaries, but you want to fix a problem. Start by fixing within your own house.
Yes, Mr. Cham, Jude asked how much, because a problem was raised about payment of journalists, and Mr. Jude wanted to know how much you are paying your reporters to keep them comfortable, to ensure that they are comfortable. He wanted to know before the network interrupted the other time. Is that something you want to answer?
No, Mimi, they're well paid. That's what I would say. They are comfortable and they're fine, and they're doing just fine.
Oh, okay. Very well then.
You are lying to the world, and that's the truth. You are lying to the world. Please stop that. It's unfair to your reporters.
You are not my staff.
Mr. Jude, it's not fair to say he's lying, because you are not part of the team and you are not just a reporter.
He is not my staff.
The reporters are employees, and employees are members of CAMASEJ. And we have been able to doctor it, to get all of these, to structure all of this data. We have that data in place.
So how have you been able to solve? Mr. Jude, let me ask a question now. How have you been able?
The only newspaper in Cameroon that pays salaries regularly, as in English-speaking journalism, is only the Guardian Post. Others have recognized that they cannot pay. which is a good thing. Let us first of all be truthful.
Get the data.
Thank you.
Mr. Viban Jude, Terence, you cannot be talking over another person. You have the opportunity to talk. Mr. Viban Jude, since the problem is not only with municipal updates, it's across Cameroon, what have you done to solve it? Because talking to media owners and telling them it's important to pay their journalists is more than anything. What have you done at your level to address this problem?
Government has to take its responsibility and get involved. We have said the 600 media houses that are roaming around the country are not media houses. They are suitcase newspapers. So government, there must be a barem. You must be able to show us a certain capital. It's going to be a long fight. Before you open a media house, the process to open a media house, Mimi, I can tell you that next week, I can have three newspapers running. That should not be the process. That should not be. The process has to be rigorous. And when Sah Terence was talking about meeting people in corridors and the rest, I've been able to meet the Minister of Communication and meet several people, meet even international organizations and people. And I say it very clearly without fear or favor. We cannot allow the economic, you cannot allow the media to be economically poor. Otherwise, that is another way of controlling the media, because a hungry person would do anything in order to survive. So
Mr.
we are
Cham
very,
Victor,
so
Mr.
it is
Cham
a
Victor,
great,
tell us,
it's an advocacy that we have to be very,
Viban
very
Jude,
strong about it.
Yes, we heard from you already, Mr. Cham Victor. Tell us why, as CAMASEJ members should vote you tomorrow as their president.
First of all, Mimi, I will first of all say that tomorrow's vote should be based on the vision to reunite CAMASEJ members, to bring that unity, to make every member have that sense of belonging, that feeling of importance as a member of CAMASEJ, to make everyone know that they have something to offer for the growth of CAMASEJ, not a select few. It's important that people understand they have a place in CAMASEJ and a future in CAMASEJ. With that, we'll be able to rebuild a strong and solid CAMASEJ. Secondly, we have to promote accountability and transparency in management. That too is very important. And thirdly, we have to create a commission in charge of reconciliation to reconcile chapters, members who are disgruntled. Now, fourthly, we have to create the Council of the Wise to bring in the elders, because we realize that the elders have been sidelined in the association. We have to bring in the elders so that they can be serving as advisors, as our parents in the profession. Just those four. There are about 17 points. I forwarded it today, my manifesto.
Yeah, your manifesto, yeah.
Yes,
Actually, you did.
And we are determined as a team to take CAMASEJ to the next level.
Okay, so we are hoping to see what happens tomorrow. Mr. Terence is also there. Terence, tomorrow is the D-Day. Yes, tell us what you have to offer to CAMASEJ members.
Yes, I will be very honest to say that Cham has mentioned a couple of points that are absolutely essential to the growth of CAMASEJ at this point, accountability. But I just want to add that there is a need for CAMASEJ members to understand that the national office needs to be audited, which means if I'm president, you shouldn't be afraid to cause that I be audited. If I'm president, I should make sure that the chapters too are audited, that their accounts, we know exactly what they're doing at the chapters. We should not have a situation where a chapter president receives a huge sum of money and it is embezzled somewhere and we don't know what happened to it. The chapter members cannot account for it and it is being covered up and people are quiet about it. Nobody's talking about it. We don't want to have such situations within CAMASEJ. Accountability should be accountability. We should be able to hold people accountable. Let us know where chapter members will know where their CAMASEJ accounts are lodged, how the financial transactions are going on there. We will institute standard operating procedures. What do we do each time we have an opportunity to do something as CAMASEJ? Where do we start from? Who benefits? How are the people selected? Decisions on who gets to benefit will not be attributed to an individual. It has to be a team of people who can objectively select people without basing it on basis of either friendship or convictions towards the leadership. Because in most cases, it's like those who have contrary opinions towards the leadership are sidelined. We don't want such a situation. That's it. But again, away from that, I want to stress again on the fact that CAMASEJ has the capacity to have a resilient news project with which it can pay its members decent pays for carrying out work with the CAMASEJ News Project. But it has to be a standard newsroom, news project that will build the skills of members and make them better and improve and increase their employability. The issue of disintegration is very important. We cannot ignore it. It's a serious thing. And what I think CAMASEJ needs, it needs a national reconciliation process. And for this to happen, all former members, all founding members of CAMASEJ, all former presidents, all those doyens of the profession who were once members of CAMASEJ need to be brought on board. We shouldn't allow a case where a young chapter president can kick an old member out of CAMASEJ just for very trivial reasons that can be handled with just simple dialogue. We want to have a CAMASEJ where people can actually respect each other, respect the old people, because they started this and they had a better vision, and they should continue to be with us to push us through. That is it.
Don't worry, we are going to be posting the manifesto in the hours ahead or early tomorrow so that people can see what you've got to offer and make informed decision before they go for the election. Any final words just in few seconds? Cham Victor? 3 candidates for the CAMASEJ election tomorrow. Everyone wants a better CAMASEJ. A lot has been going on across the national territory. I mean, when it comes to English-speaking journalists in Cameroon, we want things to get better. We want things to be improved, and we want a better leadership. I'm also a member of CAMASEJ, like you all know already. I haven't picked a side. I want better leadership as an individual. I want to know what Cham Victor would be doing tomorrow, and if he's elected, what would be your first priority? Just quickly, just in a few seconds.
First of all, I will set up a committee in charge of reconciliation. Very important and very urgent.
All right, and Terence, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Cham. Cham. Yeah, Cham. Sorry, Terence.
Thank you, Mimi. Secondly, I will set up a committee to implement a current project in CAMASEJ, which is a partnership between OSIWA and CAMASEJ, a committee made up of the current ESCO and some new members to implement the project and ensure accountability and transparency and efficiency because they mastered the project.
Okay, Terence, what would you do?
Right. I will cue in from where Cham ended. I will not set up a new committee to implement the project. I will maintain Viban and the team that worked on it to implement the project, but they would have to be answerable and very accountable to the leadership. That's the first thing. The second thing is we need to reconcile the chapters of CAMASEJ.
You have the same ideas with Cham. Why don't you just create a coalition?
If somebody says something that is cool, you read my manifesto. These are the things you can see in my manifesto.
That's right.
It's not like I'm copying what.
Because your ideas actually align. So I was just wondering why you have almost the same ideas and for CAMASEJ. So I was just wondering.
That will be because the problems of CAMASEJ are universal. We can all agree that there are the same problems, and we might be able to think of the same ways around them. But at least we are all able to agree that these are the problems that CAMASEJ is facing. And if he says this is it, and I say this is it, and other people say that is it, then there is really a problem, and we should be worried about it.
Thank you so much. Is Jude still there? Did we lose him? I don't think he's there. Thank you so much, Cham, and I'm wishing you all the best. Thank you, Terence. All the best for tomorrow. We are together, and I hope that we can do this again after the election.
We should definitely do this again, because this will also be another way of accountability.
Thank you, Terence, and all the best for tomorrow. And Merry Christmas to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you
Wishing
very
you all
much,
the best.
Mimi. Merry Christmas to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you as well, our viewers, for joining us in this discussion. Unfortunately, we lost Viban Jude, who was also here with us earlier, but he already detailed his manifesto and told us what he's going to be doing and how he can address the problems plaguing the journalism sector in Anglophone Cameroon, particularly English speaking journalists. For you who joined us, thank you as well. I want to seize this opportunity to say it's not been all rosy during this Christmas period for me, particularly because I lost a good friend who is also a sister. May her soul rest in peace, Isabel Ebude. She died on Monday this week, and she will be laid to rest tomorrow, Saturday. It's been sad for us, her friends, her family members, and her husband and her children. She's leaving behind 4 children, and may her soul rest in perfect peace. Yeah, you can see her picture. I want to use this opportunity to um, uh, pray that may her soul find eternal rest and that may her family members be consoled. And she was someone that was really, really dear to me. Thank you for watching and hope to see you some other time again. Goodbye. Merry Christmas. Bye.